As Game of Thrones heads into its new season and continues to be a staple in pop culture and an overall TV juggernaut, there are some moments in the show that you likely have missed. Now, the show has been very crafty and extremely well written, and as many fans know, they're not shy about killing off their beloved characters. But did you know that many deaths and many plotlines have been foreshadowed very early on? Let's take a look back to the very first season and the very first episode. Right off the bat, we see this image. Before we know anything about houses or characters, there's a very deliberate foreshadowing. For those who don't know, a direwolf is the sigil of House Stark, and it's sitting there laying dead with a stag's antlers sticking out of him. It's clear after watching the first season that this grown direwolf is led to represent Ned, who dies by the hand of the stag, and he ends up leaving his 6 pups behind to fend for themselves. Again with the sigils, in the very same episode we see Robert Baratheon die, the head of the stag house, we meet Tywin for the first time. And what is he doing but showing his dominance over the stag? With it laying on the table dead in front of him and skinning it, he shows he's a force to be reckoned with and how he will control the stags later on in the seasons. Now, in earlier seasons, before Sansa actually gets a voice of her own, the costume designers did something very interesting. As Sansa's loyalty changes, her hairstyle reflects that as well. It starts off very similar to Cersei's.
I'm supposed to marry Prince Joffrey. I love him, and I'm meant to be his queen and have his babies.
And then it resorts back to a hairstyle similar to her mother's when she's been mistreated.
Because the truth is always either terrible or boring.
And then her hairstyle changes again, similar to Marguerite Tyrell's, when she seeks refuge with them. Now, there are some not so subtle hints when rewatching, and they become even more apparent. Did you know, actually, Littlefinger predicts all the major deaths in Season 4 before they happen? What's even more impressive is he does it in consecutive order.
People die at their dinner tables, they die in their beds, they die squatting over their chamber pots. Everybody dies sooner or later. And don't worry about your death. Worry about your life.
People die at their dinner tables. People die in their beds. And they die squatting over chamber pots. Quotes like this become very clear when you hear them again. Like this one, when Arya actually talks to the Red Lady for the first time. It becomes very clear in hindsight.
I see a darkness in you. And in that darkness, eyes staring back at me. Brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes. Eyes you'll shut forever.
Or when Yara says this to Theon. Keep in mind, this is before he loses, we'll call it his manhood.
How did you get past the guards?
Anything with a cock is easy to fool.
So these are the things I've kind of picked up on when I rewatched the show. Let me know if I missed anything from the series, like Tyrion's amazing haircut from the pilot. Thank you so much to my patrons, Adam Gray, Jeremy Jacobs, Jenny Edwards, Jeremy Robson, and newcomer Gabe Marchanda. Thanks so much for your support, guys. It means a ton to me. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.